Hello and welcome to the Guff Highlander we played yesterday, Riley.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, Riley and I got to be commentating. It was a pretty good event. There was like 17 players. I guess I'll just pause the game and we'll just do a little intro. Yeah, we had 17 players. Only the third Highlander that Guff has hosted. You came down from Melbourne.
Yeah, we had a couple guys come down from Melbourne. It was pretty good, and sort of nice representing of the field as well. Felt like there was a fair selection of decks, not like just everyone on like some sort of blue pile or something.
Yeah, a bit of variety. It was good. Yeah, lots of new players too, which was awesome to see. Michael, who lost in the semi-final, was actually his first ever Highlander tournament, which was pretty awesome.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. So we cut the top four, and I defeated Ethan Bird on mono red in the semis, and Brennan defeated Michael. Brennan finished top of Swiss, so he's on the play. And
so the matchup is Grixis Breach, right?
Okay,
Versus
all right.
Goblins.
I'll pause it and let's look at the deck lists.
Okay, awesome.
Alright, so let's go Brennan's deck first. He was on Grixis Breach splashing white, I believe.
Yeah, because you want the Savines and a couple of the interactive spells.
Yeah, so for those not in the know, it's basically a control deck, and you've got a combo finish with Underworld Breach is the 3-point card here, and then you use Brain Freeze to fill your graveyard up with spells to escape with, cards to escape with, and you use Lion's Eye Diamond to keep paying for the Brain Freeze and acquiring more mana. And then eventually you just either Brain Freeze your opponent or Lightning Bolt them out. Yeah,
it's quite strong.
Yeah, did you verse this deck throughout the Swiss?
No, I didn't verse it today, but I've versed it in the past. It's really can sort of win out of the blue, especially with Intuition. You can just search for packages that just win on the following turn. Like you can just get Savines, Reclamation, plus the Underground Breach, and then Lion's Eye Diamond. And so if you haven't versed it before, so sometimes you feel like things are going fine when they're just not doing anything and stalling for a bit, and then out of nowhere they just can pull these wins out. So definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If you are seeing similar play patterns.
Yeah, or they just like Brain Freeze themselves, fill up their graveyard, and then they like...
And all of a sudden they have the win, and you're like, how did that get there?
Yeah, I know. Or they gamble for it, or entomb for Savins, and then yeah, and like they're not all in on the combo. They can still use just Lurrus their companion plus like Ragavan or Bot or Dark Confidant or Arcanist or Jace and just like grind you out too. Yeah,
it's quite a strong
the deck's super strong. The points are, I guess we'll do that and then I'll move on to my deck. They got Lurrus at 1, Deathrite at 1, Underworld Breach is 3, and what else have they got? Intuition is 1 point, and Force of Will is 1 point. I believe that's the full 7.
That should be the 7, yeah.
And in the sideboard, I guess we'll get to the sideboard when it comes to that. I'll bring up my deck now. This is my Goblin deck that I've been running for a couple of years now.
The mighty Goblins.
Yeah. I've been tuning it, and it's get some cheesy wins. And it's good fun.
extremely quick. I had the misfortune of versing Mulch during the Swiss, and he had some very quick and wins that even through disruption I couldn't slow him down at all. Deck's it looks really unassuming when you look through the deck list. You're like, it's just a bunch of goblins. Like, what's the worst that can happen? But the interaction some of these goblins have is quite upsetting to verse.
Yeah, well, over the years they just keep printing better and better goblins, and now you just got so many army in the cans, like Rabble Master and Krenkos. They all just do the job by themselves. You don't have to commit to the board.
Yeah, it's very similar to Brennan's list where it's got that combo element, and you can just pivot on a different axis if people are trying to commit too hard to stopping you combo, which makes it quite hard to play against if you don't know how to balance between both of those factors.
Yeah. So my points are Lutri at 1. I don't really have instants and sorceries to copy, but I just want the extra body. And then the rest of my points are in the fast mana Crypt and Mox Ruby. And I've got a Blood Moon and a Magus of the Moon, which is good against Brennan's 4-color deck. And I've got this Earwig Squad to tutor for as well, which is pretty good at getting rid of this combo.
Back-breaking. That Earwig Squad main deck. I was playing Oracle, and you can just search for combo decks. Like any combo deck that has like a specific win con, you just can take out half their game plan. Makes it really hard to verse.
Yeah, it's funny, like this card that no one's seen, and then in Highlander it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, I guess we'll get on to the games, eh?
Brilliant.
Yeah. Alright, I'll shrink these 2 windows so everyone can see my bookmarks. Alright, so like I was saying, Brennan's on the plate, and he starts out with the Ragavan turn 1.
Yeah, quite a strong card. A lot of decks are playing this Dragavan now. Really, really powerful. And if you just get even an attack in, sometimes these decks can just run away with wins quite early. But Mulch, your Goblins deck has quite a lot of 1-drops in it, right? You're normally pretty good at gumming up the board.
Yeah, well, I've got fewer 1-drops than a conventional Goblins deck, just by the nature of Highlander, right? You've only got 1 Goblin Lucky, 1 Scope Prospector. Yeah, so I've got 5, I think, but obviously Ignoble Hierarch and Churgeon 0 power, so they don't block the Ragavan very well.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very true.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that Skirk is good enough here. I mean, I've played the match before, so I know what happens, but...
Yeah. So when you're going into a match like this, you were familiar with what Brennan was on before the match. What's your sort of game plan going in?
I want to Earwig Squad him as fast as possible, because I believe my fair plan is better than his fair plan.
Oh, okay, interesting. So once you're both not as devoted to the combo, you're kind of happy to just out-goblin him because you're just going to have an army and he's only going to have quite small creatures because of being forced into the Luris.
Yeah, I mean, provided that I can kill the Luris with my 4 or 5 or so goblins that kill creatures. So I guess it is dependent. The plan is dependent on the hand. Like if I have the removal, then I can grind because I can't grind through Luris without the removal. And outside of that, I want to Earwig Squad him. I guess it all depends on the draw. And honestly, I've only played the matchup twice now, so
okay.
I'm not fully aware of the ins and outs.
Yeah. It's looking like quite a strong start from Brennan. Both of these cheap interactive pieces plus the Ragavan. Brennan, for some reason, choosing to not play the Mags of the Moon. An odd choice for him. It's almost like he wants to cast spells this game.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the treasures. He doesn't need coloured lands.
No, not at all.
Only 2 targets for the Inquisition, the Goblin Chieftain and the Metallic Mimic. When I was setting up the camera, I was playing around with the visual settings, and I found that if I turned the saturation right up, it actually made the cards easier to identify.
Yeah, honestly, these are all... Is that Earwig Squad on the bottom left? Or is that
my bottom left,
else?
yeah, the black card.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. Normally I can tell most of the commonly played Highlander cards, but my Goblins knowledge by picture is still needs a little bit of work sometimes.
Yeah, I'm acutely aware of each card, so I definitely have to be aware that not everyone knows what these goblins are at sight. And that's a Goblin Trash Master is the final red goblin in my hand.
Have you been finding that Goblin Trash Master main quite useful? So even Brennan has to do the quick double check to make sure, because it's the destroy target artifact by sacrificing a goblin, right?
That's it, yeah. And it pumps your goblins, but it's more about the ability. Like it's not great in most matchups. It's just an expensive lord, but because I play a couple of tutors, Goblin Matron and Goblin Recruiter, it's really nice having that answer to Umezawa's Jide. That would be quite hard.
So
I can't beat that card, and also like Time Bolt combo, and robots have been getting popularity because Tombot keeps crushing with
Tombot just keeps crushing. That deck is so scary to verse.
Yeah. Brennan's
got all the interaction in the world.
Yeah, so he's just riding this Ragavan. And this is the power of Ragavan, right? Like you play it turn 1 and then just deal with all their blockers, protect it with counter spells, and then hopefully you just flip enough value to take the game.
It does definitely feel like a must-answer card, which can be a bit tough, especially when you're on the draw. But it's also kind of cool that it like helps force more answers for the format as well. If like Ragavan is a big force, maybe people start playing more and more interactive Magic because they're forced to answer this card.
Totally. Yep. Yeah. When I first saw it, I was thinking that you could play blockers as a good answer, and it's partly correct, but in reality, they have lots of removals. So
yeah, it is seeing a lot of play in these like interactive heavy decks. So if you're on the draw and you're like your line and your blocker is your answer, it's quite tough.
Yeah, you really have to remove it, otherwise they'll eventually.
And Brennan's got the points here. He's got 3 of your points on his side of the board.
It's a 10-point deck. That's not fair at all.
Never happened that Grix has ever been 10 points.
I mean, arguably it's 11 points if you count Ragavan.
Yeah, it's true. The old watch list point.
Yeah, and I wasn't quite sure how that Loris entered, but yeah, Brennan's like, I got 2 treasures and your own mana crypt. And I'm like, oh yeah, 6. Yeah. That's enough mana.
That'll do it.
Yeah, the companions are really coming into play this game. So
if you're sacrificing the City of Traders here, is that green mana quite important to the last card in your hand, or?
It's more just I anticipated needing to play black mana, so I was going to lose the City of Traders eventually. May as well get the Copperline Gorge down.
Yep, because of the E-League squad. Yeah, of course.
So Brennan's really in the driver's seat here.
And the Goblin, it's a Goblin Ringleader is the card that Brennan's flipped off the Ragavan here?
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah. So it's 4 mana 2/2 haste.
Yep. And
it has... Yeah.
You must reveal the top 4 cards.
Yeah.
And Brennan does not have any goblins in his deck, which is... Yeah. He actually randomizes here out of habit, but Goblin Ringleader is old school. You can choose the order.
Ah, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So it's especially with playing the Brain Freeze, there's actual spots where he could be on 4 cards in library and just use it as a top deck reorganizer.
Possibly, yeah.
Pretty rare.
Possibly.
Pretty rare, but potentially.
Yeah, I mean, in your deck, if you're, with Tainted Pact and Demonic Consultation, very important.
Yes, the Oracle lists definitely have that come up.
Yeah, you play Ragavan as well, I presume?
Yes, card is so fun to play.
Yeah, I've got it in my
I don't think I'm going to play... Yeah, I saw the cheeky little monkey trying to pretend to be a goblin.
I'm a goblin too, guys. Hello, fellow goblins. So Chainwheel are a really good blocker here. It's going to kill the Ragavan, but it doesn't matter because it's the only 2 or less drop for Luris to bring back, so...
Yeah, he's going to get it back every turn anyway.
Little persistent monkey.
Yeah.
Pilfering my goblins. I remember...
So it is... Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, Brennan rolled the dice straight onto my mana crypt. and I was like peeking down trying to see if it dented it. It's a shame when Magic card prices make you feel that way.
Get scary. Yeah. It is quite interesting though, because Brennan's list outside of the combo doesn't actually kill that quickly, and it looks like the way that this game's playing out it is going to be quite a grindy game. So this Mana Crypt is a bit of a liability that he's taken off you.
Yeah, totally. He's got the life gain from the Lurrus, but I have to have no blockers for him to attack with that Lurrus, because I'm snap blocking it if he does.
Yeah, Chainwhirler does have First Strike as well, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so it attacks fantastically. Blocks fantastically into this board state.
So I've drawn Ancient Tomb, not much help here. I'm actually on a relatively low life total. So is Brennan, like only 4 flips away from dying.
So is your game plan at this point, you're just like really looking for just any way to play threats on the table, or are you kind of just like holding out and then hoping this mana flip finally gets you the rest of the way there?
Yeah, both. I'm holding out and hoping for the Mana Crypt. I know that I have to just keep putting blockers out for Lurrus, otherwise he'll be able to negate the Mana Crypt. I'm just assuming that I'm dead. I'm kind of going through the motions, because there is a small % chance that I come out of this game.
Yeah, is if you draw Ringleader, is there like and it resolves, is that a line that you can potentially win over the next turn or two? Or?
Yeah, true. Yeah, like if I draw a Goblin Recruiter, then I'll be back in the game, because I can try and line up the combo, or if I get another mana, I could drop Moxus off the top with the Recruiter. So I've got top decks for sure. But Brennan currently has, I count, 3 cards in hand, so.
Yeah, and if I couldn't quite say, but it looks like he's on not a lot of interaction. One of the cards looks like it's Spell Pierce, which has very few targets in the list.
Yeah.
I've got Unholy Heat. Really, really impressive card for Highlander. I've been quite impressed playing this card.
Oh, it's fantastic,
6 damage for 1 red is something that red is like, I don't think it's ever had anything close to this like level of like large creature interaction. No,
there was Magmatic Sinkhole recently.
Sinkhole the Delve was like quite strong for a bit.
Yeah.
And then family favorite Roast. I did love playing that in Blue Moon back in the day, but not exactly a strong card to play.
Yeah, so I've actually drawn one of the goblins that could get me out of this hole, Conspicuous Snoop.
Oh yeah, this card is one of like the key combo cards for goblins, right?
Yeah. So for those who don't know, it lets you cast goblins off the top of your library, and also has the activated abilities of any goblin on top. And that's a Sling Gang Lieutenant on top, which I can sacrifice.
The Snoop for,
but but I want to keep the Snoop around. So, and Brennan has an interesting choice here, whether he wants to attack with the Lurrus or not. He definitely attacks with the Ragavan because Lurrus can bring it back. But if he attacks with Lurrus, he'll lose it. But he has to decide what I think is more valuable, Snoop or Lurrus.
Is there also a question of, does he want to attack with the Ragavan because it's potentially giving you more outs to see Kiki Jiki and you can combo it?
That's a very good question, because like I haven't got black mana right now, so I don't want to draw this Sling Gang.
Yeah.
But Brennan can cast the Sling Gang, so he had to make that decision whether he would rather cast the Sling Gang or have me draw it. Yeah.
So even though Brennan on paper might look like the more controlling deck here, he's the one trying to race for a finish here because you're threatening this combo that could just be on the top if you're lucky.
Yeah, like if I rip Recruiter, I could stack Kiki Jiki on top and Skirk Prospector and just combo off with infinite.
You finally got this black banner on top, but you just it might be a little too late with this board state.
Yeah. Well, there's a second black because I do play a Bayou on top. Unless it gets Ragavan away, we'll see. But I mean, the second black would just be for the Ewig squad, which is not very good right now.
Yeah, it's kind of missed its mark.
Yeah. So I'm pretty close to death. Like, if he attacks with everything, well, not anymore.
Oh, munitions expert! Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so
what a card.
That was the last card unknown in my hand, and it kills the Loris. So I needed that black source, but Brennan didn't know how desperate I was for the black.
Yeah.
To cast the expert. And so now he hasn't got that recurring card advantage.
Yeah, and you're quite low. It's if he didn't attack with the Ragavan, it's almost like he could have potentially found a way to actually just get lethal through the lack of blockers, because you wouldn't have had black for an extra turn.
Yeah, and he has 3 life loss with the Sling Gang and the 2 tokens as well.
Yeah.
Did you witness this game in person?
I think I saw bits and pieces. Yeah, I remember seeing this Mana Crypt in play, and seeing a lot of turns where like minimal things were happening, where it's sort of like Loris was like slowly accruing like an advantage, but not a huge one. But I don't think I can remember past this. I'm actually pretty excited because I'm trying to figure out. I actually don't know who's ahead from this point. Like, it looks like I would put, Brennan as favoured, but this Goblins deck, it just out of nowhere. I can never keep track of it.
Yeah, well, right now I've got the 2 toughness Snoop to block all the 1/1s. So if he was to attack with everything right now, I could block Sling Gang and Ragavan and take 2, and then he would sack the Sling Gang. So he doesn't attack with the Sling Gang. I know he does.
Is the Sling Gang a 1/1?
It is,
or?
yeah.
Oh, okay, quite small.
It's unintuitive. I've been in this position before with Goblins. You don't want to attack with the Sling Gang, because it means that if you want to get the drain, you have to sack the Sling Gang itself. So you can't sack...
Oh, yeah.
So you can't sack the tokens before combat damage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now, if I block Sling Gang and Ragavan, I'm taking 3 total. But if he attacks with just the tokens and the Ragavan, then
You're taking
it ends up being
4?
2, but then he gets to retain the Sling Gang and gets an... Yeah, it's odd, the math.
It's odd, but he also doesn't have more Goblins in his list, so it's
Yeah, true.
The Sling Gang doesn't have as much value.
Valuable to him than it would be to me.
And it looks like you're going to be killing the Ragavan here, so he doesn't even have access to more Goblins from the top of his list.
Yeah. Finally killing that monkey dead.
Yeah.
Kept coming back. Yeah, well, it looks like it's pretty good for me now. Like, the Mana Crypt is clocking him, and I've got the Snoop inevitability. That's Entomb from Brennan.
Yeah. So that was one of these cards that we had mentioned in the deck lists. So I think Brennan gets Savine's right here?
Yes, he does.
I would assume.
Yep.
Yeah, because quite strong with even just bringing back Loris at this point. Like,
yeah,
seems like quite a strong angle to have.
Yeah, so he made that, that attack knowing full well that he could bring back the Ragavan. It's weird commentating this retroactively.
Yeah.
I don't think I like it. I think in the future I'm gonna get all the gear and try and do live commentary.
Yeah, I like the live commentary. It's always fun seeing the booths.
Yeah.
And getting people in.
Yeah, I need to get a longer cable because Guff's storage room is far away.
Oh, is it? It's on the other side.
Yeah.
The Guff store's really nice. That was the first time I'd been in since they'd moved. It's quite a large venue.
Yeah, it's got plenty of space, natural light, and it's clean, so it's good. They just got to put a sign out the front. That's all.
Yeah, it is so hard to find the store if you don't know what you're looking for. There's no advertising that soars up the stairs. You have to really trust Google Maps that you know where you're going.
Yeah, I put a little intro video for this with a demonstration of how to find it from the street. So Loris and a fetch lane coming back off the Savins, and then Ragavan getting cast in the graveyard for Loris.
I didn't even know that Sedines could get lands. That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
permanents with 3 mana value or less.
Okay, interesting. So you're cracking the fetch here just so you can get another look for the Snoop?
Yep, and also...
Oh, and also the Ewig
yeah,
squad.
I can hard cast the squad, which is nice because it's got 3 toughness to block the Ragavan, which is going to keep coming at me because of Loris. So I'm not dead yet. I'm on 4, pretty low. Definitely can't use that Ancient Tomb, not that I need it.
Yeah, it's terrifying to use, right?
It's Den of the Bugbear on top. Creature land that turns into a goblin and creates a goblin, which is a great printing for my deck.
Really, really strong card. I know some of the mono red lists are also looking to play it just as a extra threat for them.
Yeah. Being an untapped coloured value land is you don't see many of those, so it's a good addition. Yeah, bit of a board stall. It's
So with Ewig squad, sorry, just to double check, it's whenever it's proud that you search. It's not when you enters.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, so you have to cast it for its prowl cost, and it has to resolve for you to get the triple extract trigger.
And the prowl it's when a creature that shares a creature type with the card deals combat damage to your opponent. That's when you can cast it.
Correct. Yeah, so a goblin or a rogue.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Which is not happening.
So you can't. So if you were to attack with Ragavan, that wouldn't be able to be proud then, because he's a monkey pirate.
Yeah, it's correct. Yeah. I was playing Opposition Agent for a while, and that's a rogue.
Interesting. The fun of Highlander interactions.
Yeah, random creature types having importance. So I think Brennan's just weighing up doing the combat math here. His deck often wouldn't be doing combat math, so...
Yeah.
I think he just does a dummy attack into the Ewig squad.
Yep.
And they swat it away with their lacrosse sticks.
It's just free value for Brennan. It's just like you have to figure out if he's got a removal spell or anything. You're just kind of forced to block really, and he can just do it forever until he actually draws like some sort of burn spell or something to chip the rest of the damage away.
Yeah, well I know like some breach decks were playing Ren and 6, weren't they? Oh no, just the rug decks, not the breach decks. Never mind. I was wondering.
I mean, these mana bases look like they could support a lot more. It's kind of just points to the points. It's like, if I get Blood Moon, I get Blood Moon, right?
Yeah.
Which is why it's like one of the key cards that you're looking for in this matchup, I assume.
Yeah, totally. Brennan trying to sucker me twice. He's got the spare mana, so he may as well.
Yeah, why not? It does look like his hand is not particularly strong. He's like, we've had a Spell Pierce, I think we've seen in his hand for like many turns, and it's just shocking in this game 1 against you.
Yeah, so at one point I'm like, man, he's got 4 cards in hand, what are they? And I'm thinking Spell Pierce, I'm thinking Mental Misstep, I'm thinking Lion's Eye Diamond, like things that you just wouldn't put on the board or cast. I see another land in his hand.
So you're not particularly worried about what's in his hand. You're not, because you've cast a couple spells, and most things have resolved, even though the Snoop is like quite threatening.
Exactly. If he had removal, he would have killed that Snoop a long time ago. I can see Force of Will at the front of his hand there, and the Lion's Eye Diamond.
I think he's just picked it up. So yeah, I think
that's a Sparksmith on top. So Sparksmith is a 1/1 goblin, and you can tap him, and he deals X damage to yourself and to target creature equal to the number of goblins in. Oh, it's in play. Oh my god.
Oh, that is really interesting.
I think I might have cheated. I don't know if it's eye control or in play. Because if it's in play, that counts the 2 tokens.
Oh, it'll kill you before it kills, like when it kills.
Oh my god, it's in play!
Oh, no.
I cheated! Oh no! Brennan's gonna be so salty. That's funny as. I'm on 4. I should have died on the spot right here, but from memory.
Oh, because you're just activating the ability. Yeah, but you go to 1 instead.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Caught red-handed.
Yeah, it's a really old style of text you don't see too often. Most cards that reference, like, cards in play are always referring to you. It's pretty... So it's like much older, like almost pre-modern only, that refer to everything in play.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I prefer to have the symmetry.
Yeah, I think the symmetry is like really fun, right?
Yeah, it is. It is super
Creates
fun.
These interesting game states.
Yeah, you have to be more aware. Well, the game goes on, I suppose.
Yeah, game goes on. That's missed interaction. Can't tell these guys about it now.
Yeah. So what happened there was I held priority after casting the Legion Warboss and activated the Snoop using the Sparksmith ability on the Loris before the Legion Warboss came in. So it should have dealt me 4, but it only dealt me 2.
Oh, that was the interaction. Okay, yeah. I was trying to figure out why you didn't go to 1 based on what was in play, but yeah, that's...
the Warboss was still on the stack and ended up getting forced.
Yeah. Because I remember you mentioning... I remember overhearing you saying hold priority, and I was like, why is a Goblins player trying to hold priority? You don't have any tricks that complicated.
That's a dread few.
But apparently I'm wrong.
Just to get the Mental Misstep out of my hand, even though I've got no blue mana to not pay my remaining life points with.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the card?
He dread fuged me. Fuge?
What is that? Fuge. It's a discard spell?
Yeah, it is. I forget the condition, but it's from Strixhaven or one of the Midnight New Innistrad sets. I don't know. I see he just wants to get more cards in his graveyard for...
it's the Cleave card.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah. So I don't... a little out of date with the last 2 to 3 sets. So some of these cards are actually brand new to me. And obviously, also half the Goblins are as well.
Everyone's out of date because, obviously COVID stopping people from drafting and playing tournaments, etc.
Yeah.
All right, so I've actually got more creatures than Brennan for the first time.
Yeah, you've really done well to hold on this long in the game.
Yeah.
This is quite a threatening board state from you.
Well, Brennan and I just kind of drew bricks for a long time. So now I'm just weighing up my attacks.
Can definitely be one of the issues with playing some of these metagame cards like Spell Pierce is that sometimes you're just going to run into matchups where they actually just don't have text.
Yeah, totally. Like, the red blasts and blue blasts are a classic. Like, people often main deck those. And, the large majority, that's a redundant saying, but the majority of decks in the format, they're great against. But, your creature decks like Goblins, it's a nice...
Yeah, they're gonna dodge those red blasts.
Yeah. So it's funny, even though Goblins may not look that great in theory, it does get these little edges like that where dead Spell Pierce really coming in, and it
somewhat similar almost to other styles of decks that you used to be an Affinity player in Modern back in the day as well, right? And it's like one of those game 1 decks where you just have an edge because you need specific cards to deal with. And those sort of cards just aren't seeing play in Highlander in the same numbers they maybe used to be.
Yeah, no one main decks sweepers as far as I can see.
Yeah. I don't think I've main decked a sweeper in Highlander in 5 years or something.
Yeah. Well, I'm still hurting after that the Sparksmith game violation.
Yeah, that's... I think it's a pretty... honest mistake, though. I think that's something that not many people are gonna... I think people could be playing Goblins deck for quite a while and miss this. I think Ragavan, maybe now with the rise of Ragavan and cards jumping all over the place, people might finally pick up on now, but wouldn't be too worried.
Well, I've gone all in. Basically, I think you should do all the play-by-play and anticipation because I already know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So I Yeah, I'm really shocked that you're able to pull back this game as much as you have. So obviously Brennan has a pretty small board state left. He's on 5. He's still got the Mana Crypt in play as well, so he's got to be really careful with blocks. Like he could just lose to a coin flip on upkeep if he's ever too eager to hold on to stuff. But I think the Mana Creature you're attacking with, he's just like forced to just... He's only able to just barely stay alive, right?
Well,
the Ewig squad's a must block. And the 3/2's the same thing. Yeah, it looks like that's the line Brennan's looking for.
I mean, regardless of how he blocked there, he was dead to a lost coin flip or dice roll. We're presuming odds is a loss.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I think Brennan should have not blocked the Ragavan. I think he should have blocked the 2 tokens on the squad and the den and taken 4 down to 1.
And then he can use, if he like draws a removal spell. Oh, but I guess.
Yeah, then if he draws removal spell, he can kill the Krenko and kill me.
But if he attack, yeah. Just look for that like combat out. But it does look like Brennan is not as familiar with the combat type lines of.
Yeah,
he's definitely done a lot of thinking. He's like all of the deck's natural game plan is much more focus on these combos and then stopping your opponent.
Yeah.
I don't think Brennan's been doing a lot of combat math today.
So there's his hand. He had a pedal in hand as well.
So it looks like, so that prediction that you talked about earlier in the game of having, like, what can Brennan have in hand if he hasn't, like, interacted with me the past couple of turns? Like, you'd like, hit, like, 4 of those cards or something, right?
Yeah, I mean...
You made perfect predictions.
Yeah, at the time... I remember thinking about Spell Pierce and Lion's Eye Diamond... Yeah, as to like 2 cards you could have dead in hand, but I didn't really think of Pedal. But...
And so we're going to board. So you've snuck the win, this game. And so what are you thinking post board? I like Brennan's list. I'm assuming some sweepers are coming somewhere. Does he have anything in his list? Or?
No, he hasn't got any sweepers. So yeah, like the metagame sideboarding decisions by Brennan.
Didn't account for goblins, like a fool.
Well, he knew I was going to be there. Anyway, so he's got a Blue Blast, he's got the Hydra Blast, Portable Hole, Rip Apart, plenty of removal.
Yeah, and he's also, like, the Rip Apart's also really nice for the Blood Moon as well. It's going to hit both Blood Moon and Magus, which is really important for his answers, because those cards will just take him out of the game if he's not careful.
Yeah. Seal of Fire is a nice one to recur with Loris.
Oh, yep. It's not exactly the board wipe, but definitely over a couple turns can do quite a lot of work.
Yeah, and so I presume this brings lots of his spot removal and...
Takes out some of those dead cards you had stuck in hand.
Exactly, yeah. And then we'll have a look at my sideboard.
Even more goblins.
Yeah. So, I guess I'll just pause the feed in case we do get ahead of ourselves. So I've got... I haven't updated this. I didn't actually have Chalice on my sideboard. This was a Maddening Hex, not a chat.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's quite a strong card.
Yeah.
There was one of the cards talked about on the watch list as well, right, for the points update?
It was on the watch list, yeah, but I
creatures?
don't think it should have been. I think it's because it's so bad against creature decks.
Yeah, I think it's quite... I don't think it's a card that should be worthy of a point, but I think it's quite a nice new addition for the format where it helps to sort of just keep that ebb and flow of the meta, where if particular decks are getting too represented, it seems like a very strong counter to them and can help sort of sway the tide back to maybe more creature-focused decks. You can see some more goblins rising up.
Yeah, totally. You could, like, right now, you could metagame Maddening Hex. I mean, main deck it.
Yeah, right now it definitely seems like a time where it's very similar to like the Spell Pierce that Brennan's playing, in that it's quite strong against, 70-odd% of the field. Honestly, if I was saying, if I draw this card 70% of my matchups, it's fantastic. That does seem like quite a good deal to have.
Yeah. All right, I'll just... so I think I bring in I brought in the Nullrod against the Lion's Eye Diamond combo. I brought in Cindervines as a way to kill Breach and deal him 1 damage each time he tries to, play spells with Underworld Breach. If I'm tapped out and can't activate the Cindervines. Collect Oof, same as Nullrod. I bring in Leyline of the Void, stops the Breach. And
the Loris.
Yeah, Leyline's a nice one. I've been considering main decking it in some decks.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. And I bring in Choke as well.
Ah, the third moon effect.
Yeah. All right, so let's see how we're going. Looks like we're still sideboarding.
Are there many goblins that you feel are like dead in the matchup? I feel like Trashmaster is one that didn't look fantastic, but what other sort of cards were you looking to take out?
Yeah, Trashmaster comes out. I end up taking out a few goblins that I want to keep in, just because the sideboard cards are slightly better. He's got enough disruption that I don't think I can combo him, so I take out the Skirk Prospector, I take out the Kiki Jiki, and I just rely on using Ewig Squad to win the game rather than the combo.
Okay, interesting. So if you draw, obviously Ringleader is still one of the best cards in your deck, even with those cards out. How much does your lines change for your like recruiter lines? Is it very context of like the game dependent at that point?
Yeah,
then?
Absolutely. If I cast recruiter, first thing I want to do is get the combo out of his deck so that he can't kill me, and then I'll just stack my removal goblins underneath that to kill the Lurrus and stop him from grinding me. And then my remaining goblins should be enough to win the game from there.
Nice. Yeah, okay. Very interesting.
Yeah, I forget what I take out after that. I believe I actually took out Misstep, which is probably wrong.
Really? Yeah, I was going to say, Blue Blast seems like a card that I'd be terrified of as the
Goblin and even Gamble and Entomb are quite strong too, so it was probably a mistake, but anyway.
Yeah, it definitely can get tough because a lot of the cards you bring in, like you said, were like they're all like hammers in the matchup. Yeah, so it can get a bit.
Yeah, I took out Krenko because it can just get killed and
before you get to the chance to tap
you
with
just lose too much tempo. Yeah. All right. I'll get back to this sideboarding. Yeah, but you had like some good times throughout the day.
Oh yeah, Paper Magic is the most fun, and I haven't had a chance to play Paper Highlander in. I think I play in the Kurgan League, so I was able to get a couple matches in like a week or two ago. It was just so good getting to like play with another person in front of me. But yeah, I went 2-2. I lost to the bye, which is odd, and then I had I lost to you. I lost to you, Mulch. That was my other loss. But yeah, it was really, really good fun. I was playing Grixis Oracle, which is a deck that I was playing off and on between that and Mono Red, the list that Ethan's quite well known for helping popularize. But I ended up not feeling confident in the build that I had for Mono Red, so I just stuck with Grixis Oracle. And I think the deck performed really well. I know that normally, like, I'm not a big deck builder myself. I just like to steal other people's lists. So if I'm playing Red, I'm probably messaging Ethan the night before to get a list. And then if I'm playing Grixis Oracle, I'm either messaging Brennan or trying to find his last result online to get a list from him. So I was a bit surprised when I saw him playing Breach because he's been playing Oracle for quite a long time. But the shell was quite similar to what I was playing, just with white splashed and slightly different combo pieces.
Yeah. I noticed you weren't on the Lurrus build, were you?
No. I have a bit of an affinity for Kess, and I was really excited to play big chunky cards that maybe aren't good, but are very fun.
All right, let's see if we can skip ahead here. Well, it looks like we're pretty close to action.
Double check the sideboard. Nice.
Yep.
Definitely a big part of like returning the paper is like me just double checking all of my your mannerisms as you play in the game. Just like, did I bring, if I got 14 cards on my sideboard now, oh wait, that's my companion. Oh wait, I need to remember to reveal that.
Yeah, in the Swiss, I I like searched my library and realized I still had sideboard cards on my deck because I'm so rusty in paper.
Yeah, but it's pretty, especially I think Highlander community is just fantastic for trying to create like a welcoming environment, and normally people are pretty, you know, I think that especially these first couple of months coming back, people are going to be pretty happy just to be there, and they're not going to be trying to shark you on rules stuff or anything like that, which is always really nice.
Exactly, yeah. This event was all just about having a good time and getting back into paper.
Yeah, and we like you said, that we saw with the new players coming in, like so fantastic for the format. I think the one thing like Highlander players want more than anything is just like more and more events. So the more new players we get, the more support we get for that. It's like fantastic.
Yeah, totally. And it's pretty hard to get new players in, like with the price of cards these days. So
yeah, it's quite tough. But like trying to figure out how to build budget decks and stuff is really tough, and it can be sort of hard to convince people that if you're building the budget deck that they're still going to have a shot. But I'm just saying, I saw a couple 5-point lists in the past that had some very nice success. Some builds of mono red and stuff. You don't have to fork out for the Mox Ruby. You can build on less points and still have quite a lot of success with lists like that.
Yeah. I just have to comment on how lucky I was this game. I mulliganed to 6, keeping a 1-lander on the draw because I had the Churgeon and then like a turn 2 disruption. But I didn't have the second land, and I rip it on my first draw step.
Oh wow! So Brennan's keeping 7 here.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. And then you're on 6. And then so which Goblin is this one?
That's Goblin Churgeon. He wasn't really played in traditional Goblin decks, but I tried him out, and because the 3-drops are so powerful, if you can protect them with this little guy, then he's fantastic. So he's just a 0/2, and he lets you sacrifice any Goblin to regenerate any creature.
Any sack a Goblin, any creature can get regenerated. All right, interesting.
And it's a 0/2, oddly enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Not a lot of... we got the Mox. So you drew land off the top and then also had a Mox.
I ripped the Mox.
Ripped the Mox. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so turn 1 I ripped the second mountain, turn 2 I ripped Mox, and then got to drop the Magus turn 2.
Oh my gosh. And obviously you would have played the Mox if you had it turn 1, so Brennan's very aware that you've ripped this off the top. It's a bit of a feel bad for him. He at least has an island in play, so that's... He can hopefully cast a couple of things. I know that obviously Blue Blast is an answer for this Magus, but
yeah,
gosh,
and he had a Flash Flood in his
tricky.
sideboard too, which I think I just saw in his hand. No, it can't be. Otherwise he would. Oh, I see. My Churgeon is protecting the Magus.
Yeah, it's regenerate target creature. This Goblin is surprisingly good here.
Yeah, in hindsight, we were talking about it after the match. Brennan wished he Flash Flooded the Churgeon immediately on turn 1.
Yeah, I think you're just forced into it, right? Like otherwise, it's just going to say that it's like having like a welding jar in play. You just kind of just have to bite the bullet and lose a removal spell.
Yeah. Perhaps he wanted to hold up the Flash Flood turn 3 for a turn 3 Blood Moon, but I must have ripped the fast mana and threw off his timing.
Yeah.
So, Nunrod's shutting off my own Mox here, but I think I'm happy to do that to stop him from getting Lotus Petal or Lion's Eye Diamond and somehow weaseling out of this Magus.
Yeah, like, because even with just Lion's Eye Diamond, if he has, like, the other common pieces in hand, he can still kill here without Null Rod if he has, like, the perfect hand,
right?
Yeah,
because he can cast the Breach with red mana, and then the Lion's Eye Diamond casts all coloured spells.
Yeah, it's quite scary. But it looks like your board position here is quite good. You've just got the Lutri back to hand, and Brennan's just trying to find any sort of meaningful way to interact, but it's so hard with this Magus of the Moon down.
Yeah, he doesn't play any burn that stops regeneration, so the Churgeon is just, like, every Goblin I play is just another Goblin to protect the Magus.
Highlander staple Incinerate, not seen a lot of play these days.
Hey, Ethan was playing it
I play it. I just not a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people kind of question the Lutri in my sideboard as a companion, but often I will with these games with Moons and Magus. You do find yourself low on resources because sometimes I can shut out the black and green cards from my hand.
Oh, and so just something to do with that mana, you find it's quite helpful to just have an extra sink sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly. And the flash threat is like, a lot of the time against control decks as well, you're just looking to get bodies on the ground just to pressure them. So having that flash threat can just guarantee that you do something on their end step as well, which is quite strong.
Yeah.
So in this board state, obviously you've got the setup that you are after. You've got a way to protect this Magus with the regenerate, and then you've also got Nullroid out to stop the combo. Are you kind of just happy to slowly chip away at Brennan from here if you can like hold this protective board state?
Absolutely.
Or are you like, obviously you took out the combo as well, so there's no real other game plan that you're looking for? Like, your ringleader's quite value orientated at this point.
Yeah. I just have to put bodies on the battlefield and attack through that Battle Strix. As long as he doesn't draw removal for the Magus, I win. He had enough. He had the critical mass to get rid of the Churgeon, but he just needs that one Unholy Heat or Lightning Bolt to kill the Magus and unlock his hand, but he's just not seeing it.
Not see, like, honestly, the fact that he got 2 interactive spells is already pretty lucky, considering most of his interactive spells are shut off by this Magus. Oh, and you've got the Legion Loyalist, right? Oh my gosh, this is starting to really sneak away from. I mean, Brennan was already in a pretty bad spot, but this is a really easy way to just turn the corner on a game like this.
Yeah, the War Boss kills him really fast and reduces the draw steps he has to kill the Magus.
So yeah, it's just Brennan's just the game's sort of just at the point at this here, right? It's just removal spell or bust. Like, there's nothing else Brennan can really do. There's no other cards. And we saw already from his sideboard, there's no sweep or anything. He couldn't even get like an Anger of the Gods or a Radiant Fountain to save him here. Oh my gosh, you have the Recruiter as well.
Yeah. At this point, Brennan says, do you mind if I just look at the top card of my library, and if it's not an out, then... Yeah, because Recruiter does take a long time to resolve. And that was it. It was an awesome day. Big thanks to Matt Armstrong for putting up some prizes for us. And also to Guff, they put in a bunch of extra prizes.
Yeah, it was really good. Honestly, really nicely well run tournament.